How does a steam trap work? Steam trap operation is often misunderstood, which can impact the comfort, quiet operation, and efficiency of the heating system. In this video, we're going to discuss the two most common steam traps you'll find on a job, thermostatic and the floating thermostatic, or more commonly called the F&T trap. Welcome to Boiler Room Detective. I'm your host, Red Wohlfarth. To understand how steam traps work, we should review the steam cycle. Water is heated inside a boiler. It requires approximately 1 BTU to raise 1 pound of water 1 degree. That number will remain constant until we reach the water's boiling point. That's traditionally considered 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. It now requires approximately 970 BTUs to convert water at 212 to steam at 212. This is called latent heat. The steam zooms out of there looking for the closest radiator. Once inside the radiator, it wants to surrender that 970 BTUs or latent heat and once again become a liquid. The steam trap is used to ensure the steam releases all the latent heat. When it does, the steam trap opens, allowing the condensate to pass through and return to the boiler. The first trap I'm going to talk about is the thermostatic trap. You'll see this on steam radiators and baseboard systems. I'll bet you can't guess what causes the steam trap to open and close. Yep, they open and close based on temperature. When the temperature inside the radiator drops, the trap opens, allowing the cooler condensate to escape. When the temperature increases due to exposure to steam, the trap closes. The discharge temperature for a thermostatic steam trap is between 5 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit or 3 and 17 degrees Celsius. The thermostatic trap is also used to vent air and non-condensables on the startup. This chart will give you an estimate of the discharge temperatures based on the steam pressure. The second type of trap is the floating thermostatic trap. It has a thermostatic element that allows air and non-condensables to flow around the system. It also has a float assembly used for removing the condensate. When the water level inside the trap rises, the float opens the valve and the steam pressure pushes the condensate out. The next thing I want to discuss is steam trap capacity. The pressure differential across the steam trap dictates the capacity of the trap. The higher the pressure differential, the greater the discharge capacity. This works great until one of the other traps starts leaking and fills the condensate piping with steam. Troubleshooting this will drive you nuts. As boiler legend Dan Holohan says, the problem and the solution are rarely in the same room on a steam system. What this means is you could have one room not heating and a completely different room could have caused the issue. When you see steam on both sides of the trap, the pressures somewhat equalize. You are tempted to increase the steam pressure and that works until the pressures equalize again. The result is the water level starts to rise in the radiator or pipe. When this happens, you begin to hear pipes banging and unhappy customers. When the traps fail, they will either fail to open or close. If it fails to close, you will have a cold radiator or coil. If it fails to open, steam will be coming from the condensate tank vent. These failures are more difficult to find. Checking the operation of a thermostatic or the floating thermostatic traps can be tricky. A properly functioning thermostatic trap will have a cooler discharge temperature than the inlet, unless a nearby trap is leaking. The discharge temperature of an F&T trap is within 5 degrees of the supply temperature. I like using the stethoscope to check the steam traps and listen for the mechanical noises of the trap operating. If you hear a constant hiss, that usually means the trap is leaking through. With the labor involved in testing, I find it's easier and a lot less money to just replace the internal components, which pay for themselves. You can purchase steam trap inserts from a heating wholesaler. The average life of a steam trap is 3 to 5 years, but I've seen traps 3 to 5 decades old still working. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. My boiler books are available at Pronto Heating Supplies in New York and T.F. Campbell in Western Pennsylvania, and also on Amazon.com. My articles are found in these industry magazines. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next case.